Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well. Today we're going to be talking about Nekros and my Nekros Dark Arts build. Nekros is an absolute goated Warframe who has a lot of potential when it comes to survivability, and this build in particular consists of me taking Nekros and pairing him with the helminth ability Gloom. On top of that, my Nekros has 7 Forma and 5 Archon shards, which is definitely not necessary for a Nekros build like this, but nonetheless, it's still great to have. This build is slightly different from a lot of other builds that I've done, and the only reason I say that is because I actually have no health mods, and I also have no rolling guard. And it's not that that's the biggest deal in the world or anything like that, but 9 times out of 10 on a lot of Warframes with a lot of builds that I run, I either have at least one health mod or I have rolling guard so I can just panic roll and become invulnerable to damage for a certain period of time, as well as removing statuses. But for this build in particular, Nekros don't need any of that, dog. He's just gonna survive anyway. At least under the right circumstances, of course. If you're getting absolutely flooded by enemies, I'm gonna keep it real, you'll still probably stay alive with a build like this. With all that out the way, let's go ahead and talk about Nekros, starting with his passive. His passive is very simple. Whenever an enemy dies within 10 meters of Nekros, Nekros and his companions will regen 5 health. Very simple, not the craziest passive out there, but it definitely works and it can be really clutch, especially in a scenario where you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies. Getting kills can just straight up heal you. It's pretty sick. Next up, we got his first ability, which normally is the ability Soul Punch, but we actually ended up replacing that ability with Sevagoth's helminth ability Gloom. I've talked about this ability so much on my channel because it is just honestly such an amazing helminth ability. With this ability, you have a darkness aura that straight up slows enemies in range by a significant amount. I'm talking they literally go from sprinting to moving in slow motion. And on top of that, while this ability is active, any damage you deal, whether it's from your weapons, your abilities, any damage dealt while this ability is active will actually grant you lifesteal. On top of all the amazing crowd control options Nekros already has, this ability gives him even more. And like I said earlier, this build is slightly different from some of my other builds because I actually got a low health stat and I don't have rolling guard, so I can't just panic roll and make myself immune to damage. And thanks to this ability right here, Nekros can survive casually in pretty much any scenario. It doesn't matter if it's Steel Path, high level missions that are just normal, or high level Steel Path missions. Definitely a really fun helmet to put on Nekros, and I'd highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't tried it. Next up, we got his second ability, Terrify. With this ability, Nekros roars, and that roar releases psychic energy that temporarily removes armor from enemies, and on top of that, it causes the enemy to panic and they attempt to flee. This ability is really amazing for armor stripping. Even though it is temporary, you can still remove 100% of an enemy's armor whenever you actually have 167% ability strength. Overall, this ability can massively help out Nekros, especially in those more difficult missions where the enemies are way more tanky than usual. You could just instantly remove their armor and damage their health. Gone, just like that. Moving on though, we got his third ability, which is called Desecrate. This ability releases dark energy that straight up consumes your dead enemy's body. Once the body has been consumed, this ability grants you a 54% chance to receive extra items from the body part that you just consumed. Despite how goofy this ability is, it's really efficient and it can honestly be really clutch in certain scenarios, especially if you're looking for items that you can normally find whenever you actually kill an enemy. And finally, we got his fourth ability, which is definitely his most iconic ability, Shadows of the Dead. With this ability, Nekros summons up to 7 shadow clones of the most recently killed enemies, and this ability will prioritize the strongest enemy groups among those enemies killed. The clones you summon with this ability also have a multiplier for their damage, health, and shields, and to make this ability even better, we are pairing it with its augment mod, Shield of Shadows. This augment mod is absolutely goated. This mod allows Nekros to redirect some of the damage he takes to his shadow clones. So as long as you have this augment mod on, the Shadows of the Dead ability can give you damage reduction. And if you really wanted to, you can get this damage redirection all the way up to 90%. This ability is essential for staying alive with Nekros. If you don't have this ability active, you are definitely more likely to die. And thanks to this ability, I'm just able to rotate around the room, killing enemies and replacing all the weak enemies with the strong ones as I go. It's an absolute crazy combination that can seriously bring out the best in the Necromancer himself. With all that out the way, let's go ahead and go over the mods I got with Nekros. For the aura mod, I got Brief Respite so I can actually convert energy into shields. I got Shield of Shadows, of course, so I can make that last ability even better. I got Streamline so I can get extra ability efficiency, Primed Flow for extra energy, Umbral Fiber for extra armor, Overextended so I can have extra ability range, Umbral Intensify for extra ability strength, and then I got Adaptation for even more damage reduction on top of the damage reduction we already have. And then I got Blind Rage for a good amount of extra ability strength. As far as the arcanes go, I got Molt Augmented for extra ability strength per kill, and then I got Arcane Energized for a chance to get extra energy every time I pick up an energy orb. Yeah guys, that's pretty much gonna be it for this video. He's been one of my favorite Warframes ever since I got him way back in the day. Let me know what you guys think of Nekros and my Nekros build down below. Before this video ends, real quick, just wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Keep your head up, stay positive, and with that being said, thanks for watching.